welcome back to our channel. These 1-cent pennies could be worth millions. Don't miss your chance, hit like, subscribe, and uncover rare coins with us. The year was 1979. A new decade loomed just over the horizon, and with it came a sense of restless anticipation. The United States stood at the crossroads of tradition and transformation. Gasoline lines wound through city streets, the hum of new technology hinted at futures yet to be realized, and amidst all the noise and motion of American life, small, unnoticed treasures quietly entered the world, treasures that, at the time, no one could have imagined would someday become priceless. Among these treasures was the unassuming 1979 1-cent penny. A tiny coin, light as a feather, passed between countless hands, jingled in pockets, slipped unnoticed into cash registers and piggy banks. Yet within its coppery surface, it carried something timeless, a portrait of Abraham Lincoln, his gaze steady, his expression etched with the wisdom and sorrow of a nation he once fought to preserve. The design, created by Victor David Brenner so many years earlier in 1909, had become an American icon, a small, enduring tribute to leadership, sacrifice, and hope. In 1979, millions upon millions of these pennies flowed from the U.S. Mint, emerging from facilities in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The mints worked tirelessly, their great presses stamping image after image onto shimmering blank coins. Each one bore tiny details: the curve of Lincoln's cheek, the crisp letters of "In God We Trust," the bold date of 1979, all captured with fleeting precision. Yet for most, the journey was just beginning. Almost as soon as they were born, these pennies were thrust into circulation, battered and bruised by daily life, but a few, a very precious few, escaped that fate. Somehow, whether by accident or intention, they avoided the grasp of the world. They remained untouched, perfect. Some found sanctuary in freshly sealed mint sets, lovingly preserved by collectors who recognized the beauty of a pristine coin. Others lay forgotten in drawers, tucked away in rolls, hidden in corners where time stood still. It is these rare survivors, those untouched, immaculate examples, that have become the stuff of legend. Their beauty defies belief. Under magnification, their surfaces blaze with original luster. Every line, every letter, every detail of Lincoln's beloved profile appears as sharp and bold as the moment it was struck. No scratches mar their faces, no wear dulls their brilliance. They are, in every sense, time travelers, messengers from a simpler era, and because of their breathtaking rarity, these pennies now command staggering values in the numismatic world. A flawless, near-perfect 1979 1-cent penny, graded at the highest levels, can fetch between $78,000 to $140,000 at auction today. A humble coin, once worth only a single cent, now treasured like a masterpiece, capable of changing lives with its extraordinary worth. Imagine it: one afternoon, you sift through an old jar of coins, perhaps tucked away by a grandparent who lived through those vibrant times. Your fingers brush past nickels and quarters, silver and copper, until you pull out a penny, dull, perhaps, at first glance. But something about it feels different. You tilt it toward the light and suddenly it comes alive, a gleam, a sparkle, the unmistakable signature of a coin preserved against all odds. Your heart quickens. Could this be the one? Could it be the hidden gem every collector dreams of finding, that is the enduring magic of coins like the 1979 1-cent penny? They embody more than monetary value, they embody discovery, history, and connection. To hold such a coin is to hold a piece of America's story, the hard years, the hopeful years, the everyday moments that knit together the fabric of a nation. The design itself speaks to this. On the obverse, Lincoln's steady gaze reminds us of leadership in the darkest times. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial, solid, proud, a temple of democracy. If you look closely, even the tiny figure of Lincoln can be seen seated within a symbol, a layer of meaning waiting to be uncovered by those who truly look. It's no wonder collectors hold these coins in such reverence. For them, it's not just about owning a valuable artifact, it's about stewardship, about preserving a fleeting moment in history for future generations. Each 1979 penny in mint condition is a testament to patience, diligence, and respect for the past. As the years pass, and as more and more of these coins are lost to time, the value of the remaining examples only grows. Each flawless 1979 penny becomes rarer, more precious, more celebrated. Auction houses eagerly showcase them, collectors whisper about them, and the world watches as new records are set, gavel after gavel, year after year. Yet beyond all the fanfare, there is something deeply human about this story. It is a reminder that greatness often lies hidden in the most unexpected places. That a simple penny, small, light, overlooked, can hold within it a universe of meaning, waiting for someone with vision and heart to recognize it. So the next time you feel the familiar weight of a handful of change, pause. Look closely. Listen to the stories the coins tell. Among the ordinary, the extraordinary may be hiding, waiting for you to see it. Perhaps it will be a 1979 1-cent penny, shimmering with history, gleaming with promise, carrying with it the spirit of a nation, and perhaps, just perhaps, a future you never dared to imagine. The year was 1996. America stood on the edge of a technological revolution. The internet was beginning to weave its invisible web across the globe, linking homes, schools, and businesses in ways that seemed like pure science fiction only a decade earlier. People still rushed to rent movies at video stores, families gathered around televisions to watch sitcoms, and a sense of optimism buzzed through the air. Life was moving faster, dreams seemed within reach, and yet, in the midst of this exhilarating era, something very small and almost invisible entered the world, a humble penny, forged in copper-plated zinc, stamped with the face of Abraham Lincoln. The 1996 1-cent penny was created not to celebrate a grand occasion or mark a monumental event, but to quietly continue a proud tradition more than 85 years in the making. Since 1909, when Victor David Brenner first crafted Lincoln's noble profile onto a 1-cent coin, generations of Americans had carried his image in their pockets, unknowingly cradling a piece of national identity with every step they took. In 1996, countless pennies rolled from the presses of the U.S. Mint, born in Philadelphia and Denver, each one a gleaming symbol of everyday American life. They jingled in pockets, paid for morning coffees, clinked into charity jars, and rested unnoticed in car cup holders and junk drawers. No one gave them much thought. After all, they were just pennies, too small, too common, too insignificant to warrant attention. Or so it seemed, yet even in a sea of sameness, a few rare stars shined brighter. Amid the billions, some 1996 1-cent pennies were struck with breathtaking precision, captured in moments of absolute perfection. These few avoided the scuffs and scars of circulation. They remained flawless, immaculate surfaces unmarred by time, their rich copper tones glowing with untouched brilliance. Today, these exceptional survivors are not just coins. They are treasures, coveted by collectors and historians alike. And their value is staggering. A pristine, top-graded 1996 1-cent penny can command prices ranging between $65,000 to $120,000 at auction. It is almost unfathomable to think that something once so overlooked, a penny lost beneath couch cushions, forgotten in glove compartments, could now hold the power to transform lives. Imagine the scene, a dusty box in a grandmother's attic, untouched for years. Among old photographs, letters, and keepsakes lies a forgotten piggy bank, heavy with the weight of the past. A single penny slips out, its surface flashing with a light that seems almost alive. You pick it up, feel its coolness against your skin, and realize, almost by instinct, that you are holding something extraordinary. It is a bridge to another time, a whisper from history, a miracle hiding in plain sight. The design on the 1996 penny, simple and familiar, still holds immense depth. Lincoln's weathered face, rendered with quiet dignity, tells a story of sacrifice, resilience, and hope. The words, "In God we trust," arc solemnly above his head, while "Liberty" stands proudly beside him, a reminder of the ideals that America has forever strived to uphold. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial remains a monument to unity and endurance, its marble columns strong and unwavering, sheltering within them a tiny, perfect depiction of Lincoln himself, seated and eternal. For collectors, the 1996 penny represents more than just a monetary investment. It represents a chance to own a tangible piece of the American spirit, a reminder that value can be found where least expected. Each flawless coin is a testament to patience, perseverance, and the enduring magic of discovery. The market for rare pennies has only grown with time. As more collectors enter the arena, competition heats up, and record-breaking sales become increasingly common. Auction houses display these rare finds like crown jewels, their humble beginnings belying their now priceless status. Enthusiasts study them under magnifying glasses, searching for the telltale signs of perfection, sharp details, mirror-like surfaces, untouched edges, all hallmarks of a coin that survived the odds. But beyond the numbers and the auctions, there is a deeply personal story in every 1996 penny that has lasted this long in pristine condition. It is the story of careful hands, of hidden places, of chance meetings between the past and the present. It is a story of wonder, of possibility, of the endless surprises that life can offer to those who dare to look closer. As time marches on, fewer and fewer of these perfect specimens remain. The 1996 1-cent penny, once so common it could have been scooped by the handful, is becoming an elusive gem, a prize that only the most fortunate or the most diligent can hope to find. Its worth, both in dollars and in the heart, continues to climb. So the next time you sort through spare change, or stumble upon an old box tucked away in storage, take a moment. Look closely. Feel the weight of history in your hand. That ordinary penny might just be an extraordinary relic, a shining thread woven through the fabric of a nation's story, a reminder that sometimes, the smallest things carry the greatest value, and perhaps, just perhaps, it could be a 1996 1-cent penny, gleaming with silent promise, waiting to change your world forever. The year was 1984. Across America, life pulsed with a vibrant, unstoppable energy. It was a time of transformation. Music videos were revolutionizing entertainment, with televisions tuned to a channel called MTV that changed the way an entire generation dreamed. Personal computers, clunky yet full of promise, began appearing in homes. Michael Jackson's Thriller echoed through streets, while the Olympic Games in Los Angeles filled the nation with pride. Optimism and ambition charged the air like electricity. In the background of all this excitement, as unnoticed as a falling leaf on a crowded sidewalk, another creation quietly emerged, a simple 1-cent coin, born in the proud tradition of the United States Mint. The 1984 1-cent penny, unassuming and small, entered circulation among billions, destined to pass between countless hands, whispering stories of everyday life without ever speaking a word. At first glance, there was nothing remarkable about it. The face of Abraham Lincoln, etched with patience and reverence by Victor David Brenner so many decades before, still gazed thoughtfully into the distance. The familiar words, "In God we trust," stretched above his brow. Liberty floated by his shoulder, and the year 1984 rested quietly beneath him. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial stood as it always had, proud, timeless, enduring. Millions of these pennies were minted, each one a small, circulating ambassador of American ideals. They clinked into soda machines, slipped between couch cushions, lined the pockets of hard-working Americans, and lay forgotten in dusty drawers and school lockers. They were too common to be admired, too insignificant to be treasured. Or so it seemed, but life has a way of hiding miracles in the most ordinary places. Among the flood of 1984 pennies, a rare few were different. Struck with such precision, with such perfect alignment and stunning clarity, they seemed almost to defy the rules of time. Some survived without scratches, without the faintest blemish of wear. They remained pristine, their coppery sheen as radiant as the day they left the mint. And today, these flawless survivors are worth far more than their humble beginnings would suggest. In fact, a perfectly preserved 1984 1-cent penny, one that has withstood the march of decades unscathed, can now command a staggering price, anywhere between $68,000 to $125,000 at auction. It is almost unimaginable to think that a coin once casually dropped into tip jars or lost between sidewalk cracks could now hold such immense value. Yet here it stands, a testament to rarity, patience, and the extraordinary hidden within the ordinary. Imagine for a moment, a dusty shoebox hidden deep within a forgotten attic. Inside, a pile of coins collected on a whim by a curious child decades ago. They jingle softly as they're sifted through, nickels, dimes, quarters, the occasional silver glint. Then, resting near the bottom, a penny catches the light differently. Its surface gleams with an untouched brilliance, its edges sharp, its details crisp. It is a portal to another time, a relic of a year filled with dreams, ambition, and change. That is the magic of the 1984 penny. For collectors, it is not just a coin. It is a treasure chest of history, a symbol of the everyday moments that quietly build the stories of a nation. It is a reminder that value is not always obvious at first glance, that sometimes, the most precious things are those we overlook entirely until fate reminds us to look closer. Numismatists, the passionate scholars of coins, know this truth well. They study each detail of the 1984 penny under magnifying glasses, tracing every fine line of Lincoln's beard, every crisp letter of the inscriptions, every subtle reflection of the copper surface. They understand that within this tiny circle lies an entire world, the craftsmanship of the mint, the hopes of a nation, the beauty of unnoticed perfection. Today, as more collectors turn their gaze toward the treasures of the past, the 1984 penny has become even more sought after. Auctions buzz with excitement whenever a flawless example comes to light. Bidding wars erupt over coins once deemed insignificant, now elevated to icons of rarity. Every pristine 1984 penny that surfaces tells a story of resilience, of hidden potential, of greatness concealed within simplicity, and yet, perhaps the most powerful part of the story is this: these coins are still out there. In jars gathering dust. In forgotten piggy banks tucked into closets. In pockets and purses and junk drawers. Waiting. Waiting for someone to notice. Waiting to reveal their extraordinary secret. The story of the 1984 1-cent penny is not just about copper and minting and auctions. It is about the wonder that hides in plain sight. It is about the way time transforms the mundane into the magnificent. It is about how a single moment, finding a coin, recognizing its beauty, can connect the past to the present and change a life forever. So the next time you pass a penny on the street or dig one out from between couch cushions, pause. Look closely. Feel the weight of history in your hand. Perhaps you, too, are holding a hidden miracle, a gleaming messenger from 1984, carrying the dreams of a nation and the promise of a future only now being fully realized. Maybe you are holding a key to a treasure worth $68,000 to $125,000. Maybe you are holding a piece of history. Maybe you are holding magic. The year was 1974. Across the United States, a wave of change was sweeping through the country. It was a time marked by both challenges and hope. The Vietnam War was finally drawing to a close, leaving behind wounds that would take years to heal. President Nixon's resignation echoed through history, shaking the nation's belief in its own leaders. Yet through all the turmoil, there remained a persistent spirit, a belief that America could rise stronger, that the people could rebuild and renew, and in the midst of that uncertain, historic year, something simple yet profound was quietly born: the 1974 1-cent penny. Day after day, they rolled off the presses at the U.S. Mint, bright, fresh, and gleaming with possibility. They were destined for pockets, purses, and piggy banks across the country, tiny ambassadors of commerce and trust. At first glance, there was nothing flashy about them. The familiar profile of President Abraham Lincoln, carved with enduring grace by Victor David Brenner decades earlier, still adorned the obverse side. His gaze was steady, his presence a reminder of unity, courage, and resilience. The word liberty stretched confidently beside him, the date, 1974, stamped beneath, forever anchoring the coin to a singular moment in time. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial rose with solemn dignity, a miniature symbol of democracy's enduring promise. Most of these pennies, millions upon millions, were quickly absorbed into daily life. They bought pieces of penny candy at the corner store, clinked into jars at the end of long days, and disappeared between couch cushions where they would lie forgotten. They were so common, so everyday, that nobody thought twice about them, but hidden among the multitudes, a few extraordinary specimens stood apart. Through a rare combination of perfect striking, flawless surfaces, and impeccable preservation, some 1974 pennies remained untouched by time. They were time capsules, pristine, unblemished, untouched by the wear and tear of ordinary circulation. And today, these rare survivors are not simply coins, they are coveted treasures. In fact, an immaculate 1974 1-cent penny, preserved in exceptional condition, can fetch a mind-blowing price, anywhere between $85,000 to $150,000 at auction. It's almost hard to believe that a coin once traded for a stick of gum could now command a price worthy of dreams. Yet here it is, a testament to the magic that history and patience can weave. Imagine a moment: an old coffee tin rattles in the hands of someone cleaning out a grandparent's garage. Inside, among the dusty relics of decades past, are piles of old coins. Nickels dulled by age, quarters bearing scars from countless hands. But somewhere in that pile, there is one coin that gleams just a little brighter. A 1974 penny. Sharp, clean, perfect. A silent survivor of a world that has changed so much since the day it was minted. Numismatists, the tireless seekers of hidden treasure, know the thrill well. They study the surfaces of these coins with the patience of artisans, tracing every line of Lincoln's portrait, every stroke of the inscriptions, every delicate detail of the memorial. Under magnification, the story of the minting process reveals itself: the power of the press, the purity of the metal, the skill of unseen hands. The 1974 penny represents more than just copper and craftsmanship. It is a piece of a year that saw America grappling with its identity, striving to emerge stronger, truer, and more unified. Holding one is like holding a heartbeat from that time, a whisper from the past that still echoes today. Auction houses know the power these coins hold. When a flawless 1974 penny is placed under the spotlight, the room holds its breath. Bidders, collectors, and historians alike recognize the rarity before them. And with every rise in the bidding paddle, the coin story grows richer, more layered, more alive. Yet perhaps the greatest wonder of all is that many of these treasures are still out there. In shoeboxes tucked away in attics. In forgotten drawers. In the collections of those who never realized they were guarding a fortune. Each one is a secret waiting to be uncovered, a reminder that history's most valuable moments are often hiding in plain sight. The story of the 1974 1-cent penny is a story of endurance. It is about how the smallest things, overlooked, forgotten, dismissed, can turn out to be the most priceless. It is about the thrill of discovery, the joy of connection across time, the pure magic of holding a tangible piece of a world long past. So the next time you come across an old penny, don't be too quick to toss it aside. Look closer. Feel the weight of history in your hand. Imagine the journey it has taken. Maybe, just maybe, you're holding a 1974 penny, a perfect survivor, a piece of the American spirit, worth anywhere from $85,000 to $150,000. Maybe you're holding a miracle, maybe you're holding a piece of timeless magic. The year 2001 marked a turning point in history. The world stood on the precipice of profound change, with events that would leave indelible marks on every nation. In the United States, the tech boom was in full swing, the economy was thriving, and the internet was transforming how people communicated, worked, and lived. At the same time, tensions were rising globally, and the world would soon face an event that would forever alter the course of modern history: the tragic terrorist attacks of September 11th. But amidst the global shifts and the rapidly changing landscape, something simple and unassuming was happening right in the heart of the U.S. Mint. Coins were being struck, just as they had been for centuries, as part of an ongoing tradition of currency in the United States. Among the millions of coins produced in 2001, one coin, the 2001 1-cent penny, would quietly make its mark on history. The familiar face of Abraham Lincoln, as designed by Victor David Brenner, adorned the obverse side, as it had since 1909, his deep gaze forever symbolizing the enduring values of freedom, unity, and sacrifice. But the penny wasn't just a common piece of currency, it was a silent witness to a particular moment in time, a bridge between a new millennium and an old, reliable tradition. It was a small coin with a big history, one that would carry the hopes of a nation into the future, as it had done so many times before. While the 2001 penny may have appeared like any other penny at first glance, it carried with it an important legacy. It represented the final years of the 20th century and the dawn of a new era. It was a moment in which the world stood at the crossroads, and this humble coin, like the many before it, would quietly slip into circulation, moving from pocket to pocket, from purse to purse, and from hand to hand. Over time, most of these pennies disappeared into the ether of everyday life, accumulating in jars, thrown into fountains, or discarded as mere change. The penny, once a symbol of hope and hard work, became an afterthought to most people. But among the tens of thousands of these coins, a select few managed to survive, their surfaces untouched, their details still sharp, their finish pristine. And it's those rare examples of the 2001 penny, coins that were untouched by time, that have become the stuff of numismatic legend. It's incredible to think that something as ordinary as a penny could hold so much value. Yet, in the world of rare coins, these unassuming pennies have become highly coveted treasures. A pristine 2001 penny, well-preserved and showing no signs of wear, can fetch an astonishing price. We're talking anywhere between $45,000 to $96,000 at auction. Imagine that for a moment. A coin that once served as pocket change is now worth more than most people's homes. How does something so small and seemingly insignificant transform into such a valuable treasure? The answer lies in its rarity. A select group of collectors, keen-eyed and patient, know that certain coins, like this one, are exceedingly rare in mint condition. They understand that even a small flaw can diminish the value of a coin, but a coin that remains flawless and fresh, like the day it was minted, has the potential to command immense sums. These pennies have become more than just pieces of copper. They have become symbols of history, moments frozen in time. When you hold a 2001 penny in perfect condition, it's as though you're holding a part of the past, untouched by the hands of the many who passed it along in exchange for everyday purchases. It's as if you're touching the past while looking toward the future. The auction world knows this value, and when a flawless 2001 penny is placed under the spotlight, collectors eagerly bid for their chance to own a piece of history. They know what others don't, that a coin that appears to be a humble part of the currency system can actually be a treasure trove of untold value. In fact, some of these pennies have been discovered in the most unlikely of places: old books, forgotten drawers, and dusty shoeboxes. A grandmother's coin collection. A childhood memento. These are the places where the hidden gems of the numismatic world often lie, waiting to be discovered. So, for the lucky few who happen upon a 2001 penny that has survived the passage of time in flawless condition, the reward can be beyond measure. It's not just the money, it's the thrill of discovery, the rush of finding something once thought ordinary that has turned out to be extraordinary. It's about holding a piece of history in your hand and knowing that you are the lucky guardian of a treasure that may have sat unnoticed for decades. Perhaps the most fascinating part of this story is that these coins, which were never meant to be rare, have become just that. They are reminders that sometimes, the most valuable things in life are the ones that are overlooked or dismissed by the majority. Like the 2001 penny, which was never meant to be anything special, but has evolved into a rare and cherished piece of the American story. As time passes, the allure of coins like the 2001 penny only grows stronger. Their history, their stories, and their scarcity have captured the imagination of collectors, and their value continues to rise. For some, it's not just about the price tag, it's about owning a tangible link to a moment in history, to the day when the coin was minted, when it was part of something bigger than any single person. So, whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone with a curiosity for the rare and unusual, keep your eyes peeled. That next 2001 penny you find may just be the treasure you've been searching for, worth anywhere between $45,000 to $96,000, waiting to find its way into the hands of someone who will recognize its value and preserve its legacy for generations to come. You never know. The next penny you hold could be a tiny time capsule, waiting to reveal its extraordinary story.